What's up, everyone in the live chat? We're going to be starting soon. We're going to be starting this program very soon for each and every one of you. Double kill. How to say that from my man Slimo. Yeah, we're going to be starting soon in a couple minutes. Grab your popcorn. Go to the concession stand. Go get yourself a Coke or a Pepsi. Maybe a beer. We'll be live soon. All right, well, we'll be live in a couple minutes here. We'll be live in a couple minutes. Couple minutes. We'll be live. Appreciate your patience. All right, well, we'll be live in a couple. And patrons, make sure you visit your local concession stands. Head out the aisle in orderly fashion and go to our refreshing concession stands for a beer, popcorn, or Pepsi. Oh, we can give you creepy elevator music if that's what you guys want. We could totally put some elevator music in here. What is up, everyone? It's BRAP time. It's Wednesday. It's 9:00 p.m. And we're starting on time tonight because there's a lot of video games to play. And I'm going to try to get one game in. Maybe a little Tales of Arise before when the podcast is over. Maybe for an hour, if I'm lucky, God willing. But anyhow, the rest of the BRAP guys will be joining us here shortly. But I do got a good buddy of mine, somebody I've known for, and I know I've said this a million times, but I feel like I need to repeat this for those who are new to the show. But actually, before I introduce him, let's give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you, everyone, for coming out and hanging out with us. Appreciate each and every one of you. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. What's up, Persona? Big shout out to Gaming Persona, who had a great interview with Jay Barry, and him had a great interview with the one, the only, Sean Layden on What's Up PlayStation Podcast. If you're not subscribed to What's Up PlayStation Podcast, you need to do so. Go on YouTube, What's Up PlayStation Podcast. Give those individuals a sub. So on that note, good buddy of mine, known him, like 18 years, man? Something like that, going on 20?
Yeah, something like that. I was day one. I was day one on Xbox Live. I still have my original gamer tag, and so do you.
Yes,
your beta tester.
Yes, I was an Xbox Live beta tester. For those who don't know, I participated in the beta of Xbox Live and actually played Back for Blood with my good buddy Lemieux66, who also was an Xbox Live beta tester. We were discussing playing Revolt last night, where we're playing Back for Blood. Yeah, if you remember Revolt, playing Back for Blood with our good buddy Slimo Backslap. But anyhow, so we got a lot to talk about here. OBM. We're gonna get into some topics. We're gonna talk a little bit about consumerism, the free market, and how that somehow doesn't apply to video games. I don't know how or why it doesn't, but it seems like it doesn't in some instances. So, is Nintendo ripping off gamers? We'll talk about that.
That's ridiculous.
I know, right? I had to put that in there, man. You know, clickbait, you know? Back for Blood impressions and more Bloodborne 2 rumors for PS5. There's more Bloodborne rumors out there, man, which gets my well, I'm not going to say that, never mind. Gets things tingling for me. That doesn't sound right, but anyhow.
That definitely doesn't sound right. Pause.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know what to talk. I kind of want to wait for the rest of the guys to hop in here. Hold on just a second. Let me see something real quick, OBM.
Yeah. It's all good. You definitely want to put the Back for Blood impressions at the end of it when you have a fuller cast, because I'm not going to help out much with that one.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. Well, let me ask you something, OBM. I'm sure you probably read this. Jess Gordon had an article about Avowed.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I gotta from what I read, I gotta say, like, this is the one game that I'm really excited for from Obsidian, because it takes place in the world of Pillars of Eternity, which, if you haven't played that game, is an excellent game. And like, it's when they showed that game, it's one of the games, because it's Obsidian. Although I gotta say, like, what was their last game they put out with? I always forget it, the name of it.
Outer Worlds. Yeah,
Outer Worlds was a good game. Like, it really was. Like, it was a good game. But I think for me, it just, I don't know, man. Like, it just didn't click with me. Because I don't know. It just didn't click. I mean, like, it's a good game. I couldn't. I think it's probably because I wasn't in the mood to play that kind of game at the time. You know. I feel like that's a game.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's a game you really, I think, need to invest time and like brain resources into. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a fast-paced game, at least in most spots. Like, I think to get to most of it, you really have to be trying to invest in learning about the world and characters and things like that. I'm actually right before the end game in that, and I did some of the DLC, and I got to finish that up. I got distracted with other things that came out since then. I will say that the one thing Obsidian does, I think, where they're near the top of the industry, is in their ability to write. They have some of the best writers, I think, in gaming. And that game was not a big budget game. It was, it was their B team, basically. It was funded by Take-Two's, the division that basically deals with indies and looks for those indie gems and things like that. And it wasn't a AAA budget. It was a smaller team that made that. A couple talented guys led it though. It was Kane and Boyarsky who did. And they were known, they have a good pedigree and history behind them. I think the game itself was kind of inconsistent. They had different people leading like the different planets and things like that. And you can kind of feel that too. Some of them were a lot more fun to explore and just play through and seem to be more interesting in terms of like the way it branched out than others. The thing I do like about their philosophies though is they really do try to make it a little bit more dynamic in terms of your choices having actually mattering and things like that. So I really hope that kind of philosophy, which is also something they brought to Vegas, is something that we see in Avowed, which is going to be their I think their return to AAA. Everything I've heard about it is basically like this is going to be their big game, their AAA game. And I've heard some pretty cool things since last year. There's been a lot of rumblings behind the scenes about them really trying to push the envelope in terms of world interactions and physics and things like that. So we'll have to wait and see how much of that, all those things end up coming to fruition, because obviously, anytime in development, if you're early enough, best laid plans, sometimes things do kind of, some of that initial ambition doesn't always turn out, but but I do think there's a lot of potential there. So yeah, that's one of the games I'm most excited about coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. Like, I'm definitely excited. There's the pedigree that is there. I mean, if you've been playing video games for a long time, you probably are aware of the pedigree of Obsidian. So, real quick, I want to introduce my good buddy here, B Money 101. B, what's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's going on, B Money?
B, it's another glorious Wednesday, sir, and I gotta ask you a question, B.
What's that, man?
So what's happening in December, sir?
I don't know, man.
Man.
Christmas?
I tell you what, B. You said something on this show. You said something on this show about a big game being announced from PlayStation December. And I said, this December? You said some December or something, right?
Right.
And then we see, I don't know if it was an article or a tweet or something, and then there's a story going around about a December announcement or some sort. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it's coincidence, B. I don't know. You tell me, man. Is it coincidence? Or I mean, like, should we be?
I don't know.
What's up, B?
I don't know anything, man. I'll put it out there in the air, man. People pick up on it. They pick up on it. If not, oh well.
So you're shooting from the cuff, then, is what you're saying?
Hey, man. We all got friends, right?
Yeah, we all do have friends. Some of us do. Some of these cats on Twitter, though, brandishing weapons. I don't know about those guys.
Oh, jeez,
No, we all got friends, and
So some of us have friends in high places, apparently.
Yeah, some friends are closer than others, man. That's all. That's all I'll say.
No doubt, man. No doubt. We got my man Eric Jackson in the house. What's up, E?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on, E?
Chilling. How's everybody doing?
Good, man.
Good.
It's Wednesday. It's a hump day, so getting close to the weekend, man. So yeah, we got a lot of video game things to talk about. We actually were talking, gentlemen. We're talking about some of the new news around Avowed, it being more kind of like a Skyrim style two-handed having a Skyrim style two-handed combat, allowing players to combine weapons and use a combination of swords, magics. Obviously, this is set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, which is pretty cool. So we were speaking to the pedigree of Obsidian. Are you guys also? I'm assuming you probably are, but are you guys excited for this game?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I prefer their games over the other best, Bethesda stuff like Fallout and Elder Scrolls and stuff like that. So, Obsidian always puts together a pretty good game, in my opinion. So I'll at least check it out and see if I catch a vibe with it.
Yeah, they arguably made probably the best Fallout game with the Fallout series. With what's it called? With
New Vegas.
New Vegas, yeah, right.
Yeah, a lot of people consider it then.
Yeah, that was a great game. Outer Worlds, I thought was a pretty good game too. Like I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I liked Outer Worlds too. That was good.
Yeah. Man, are you excited for this game, man? Avowed, you looking forward to it?
As far as like just like knowing like their the pedigree, like I said, enjoying Outer Worlds and kind of knowing what they're capable of. I'm definitely intrigued. I won't say I'm like excited until I see it. It's one of those things, and that's like with any dev. It's like I gotta see him. I gotta see more. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I mean, that's a great point, man. We always gotta see more, and the game's still in. Sounds like it's still in pre-production, which I don't know. I'm thinking this game's probably a couple years out, huh?
2023. No, 2020. Yeah, 23's been kind of the even before Jez's article has been kind of the rumor. I think people misunderstand what the pre-production thing is, because I think that a lot of different studios use it means different things to different studios. Like it's actually they do have like a working game.
I did read that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like somebody explained it to me, and I don't think I'm going to do a good job articulating it, because I think Bethesda's similar. Like they spend probably more of their development in pre-production, quote unquote pre-production, than full production. Kind of laying out all the systems, the world, like all the kind of getting together the story, like all that stuff is kind of there. And then when they go to full production, it's usually less than 2 years to kind of just slam it all together at the end. So and a lot of those Bethesda games, they're supposedly in production for many years before they kind of they do that last 2-year sprint. So I think Obsidian might be doing something similar, because it is kind of one of those types of sandboxy open world games where it's a lot of interdependent systems, and I'm going to assume there's going to be like I said, mentioned before, like branching paths, like your decisions matter, or things like that. So it's trying to get all that stuff right. But the one thing I'll mention, the reason why I am excited, and I agree with you, like really until you start seeing people playing it, a lot of times it's tough to be excited. But I will say I'm a little bit different on this, just because I've talked to you about this, Enrique, before. Like for me, I like graphics and things like that, but the thing I'm really excited about, I want to see in terms of like next gen is more world interactions, like better AI, better physics, and things like that. And I do think like these sandbox types of games are the types of things that could and should show off those types of elements. And like I said before, Obsidian, that's kind of was their MO, has been their MO when they're at their best. It is kind of giving a little bit of that dynamic aspects to it, where different things can happen. And I think if some of the rumors that were coming out of there, since last year are true about like the physics and AI being things we're really focused on, I think that could be really exciting when you put that together with their, branching narratives and things like that. So I'm really, I guess you can always say until you see it, until you actually see it, I understand tempered excitement, but there's definitely a lot of curiosity and a lot of hope, I guess is the way I would phrase it. It's a next gen game. It's not going to be, held back by Jaguar CPUs. And so there's probably a lot of potential with being one of those first big next gen games that should leverage that type of stuff, that should leverage the new CPU.
So, OBM, you're saying that next gen doesn't kick off for Xbox Series X until 2023. Got it.
Well, no, there's Starfield. So that
I'm joking. It's a joke, by the way.
It's Redfall, actually. Redfall is the first one, I think.
Yeah,
that's just
yeah
next
Yeah.
gen and that, current gen and that last gen.
Hey, real quick, I want to give this gentleman a proper intro. What's up, Slow-Mo?
Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, Eureka?
Who's being messy already? Obsidian is greater than Bethesda. Wow.
3 times greater. That's 3.
Whoa,
That's 3.
Wow. Oh, 3. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
3.
Well, I mean,
certainly are.
Hey, so let's say better than Bethesda, on par with Bethesda Softworks.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah,
I can
so
see
you
that.
guys, you guys really do think I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, you really do think Obsidian's better than Bethesda.
Oh yeah. I'm not even. This is not.
No,
cap.
that's not even.
This is.
That's not even. Yeah,
that's
not even a joke.
Let's take
I'm
the Outer
going to create a
Worlds
poll.
for example,
I'm
right?
going to create a poll here. But go
Go ahead and
Slow-Mo.
do it. Like, so let's take the Outer Worlds for example, right? So the Outer Worlds, a lot of people saw it and was like, "Oh, that's Fallout. That's just Fallout." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Did you play the game though?" Because if you played the game,
It's not
you
like
would see
Fallout.
that the narrative is far tighter than
It
what
is.
Bethesda does. It's
Sean.
not just one big sandbox with a story that's really kind of flimsy and so flimsy that people don't even pay attention to it. They just go off and just do random stuff, which is fine. If you like those kind of games, that's totally for you. But me personally, I when people were hyped up for Skyrim, I was playing BioWare games. So for me, seeing those how Obsidian approached the story with my crew, it's not just one companion who's just random tagging along. This was a group that you got to know. It very much reminded me of how BioWare would allow you to develop relationships with your side characters and having a narrative that was way more important than just the side piece. And so that's the big difference I see with Obsidian. In regards to Avowed, well, I never played Pillars of Eternity. I own both of them and I still haven't. That's my fault for just being too busy. And though it takes place in that universe, but hearing that it's going to be more of how the Outer Worlds was, that really resonated with me. Because for me, initially, when I saw a first-person perspective, I saw magic in one hand and a sword in the other, and I was like, yo, this is giving me some Skyrim vibes, and I don't care about that. But if it's more like what they had done already and not like how Bethesda does the games, I'm a lot more interested in the game now than I was, say, a week ago.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a great point, Slow-Mo, about the character development. And how they kind of fleshed out the relationship.
I cannot believe Obsidian is losing this poll.
I'm surprised too, man.
Do not underestimate that Skyrim effect, man. People
those are two.
They let that carry them to the clouds like nonstop. I'm like, stop this nonsense,
how about? Here's another example why Obsidian is better than Bethesda. The best Fallout game was made by Obsidian.
Facts.
I was actually gonna hit you with that. If someone say that, right?
Mike freaking drop. How about this other one, right? Okay. How about Obsidian made South Park Stick of Truth?
That's right.
They're versatile.
I just put that in the chat.
Could Bethesda do that? Could Bethesda do that? No.
And
one thing you can say about Obsidian is they're very versatile. I mean, to go from Stick of Truth to Fallout Vegas to Pillars of Eternity, I mean, to ground it with their little small team there, and then now doing Avowed, they definitely. I think the one thing that's consistent is like their ability to tell stories. I think that's why Slow-Mo, why you're more of a fan, because
OBM the writing is very immersive. Like that's like it really is. And I'm sorry, I'll let you finish your point, but like I thought Slow-Mo brought up a great point, because I remember going back and playing Fallout 4. And if I think about the writing first, like Pillars of Eternity, like the writing is just, and even Outer Worlds, the writing's just so much better, I think, in those games. But
they have better writers.
I mean, from the very start, look at the first planet where you have that whole 50, dilemma. 50. Oh, it's 50-50 now? Good. It better go. Thank you. Finally, we got people with sense voting now. Thank you. No, look. That first planet you're on in the Outer Worlds, where you have to make the decision between helping the company get rid of these dissenters who are messing up the workflow, or actually making good change by taking the leader, or removing the guy that's running the village or the city out, so that people can actually live better, so that people can be treated better. Like, it's a whole, like, you have all these decisions and dilemmas, that things that were tied into the main narrative, not some random side quests. Like what irks me about Fallout 4 is that
Sean,
you're supposed to be going trying to find your
Sean,
child.
gotta find Sean, man. It's all about Sean.
And people just like, what kid? I don't care. I'm not just gonna do this random quest over here. Oh, I'm just gonna build a whole city and town over here and just like what?
Or they start
this?
randomly running.
yeah. I know, like I said, that's a preference thing, but I like
the bugs
RPGs with a tighter narrative. I like RPGs.
The bugs are charming.
No, those bugs are actually awful. The only people who think those bugs are charming are people who just they got Bethesda tattoos. They got Bethesda tramp stamp.
That's so charming that the dragon's flying backwards and stuck in a cloud. So charming. It's not charming for other developers though. Exactly. Now, but Bethesda gets the oh God, Howard, thank you so much for these bugs.
Wow, God, Howard, right? Wow.
Well, they used to get away with it after Fallout 76. People had enough. They was like, nah, fam. No more.
They jumped up out the Matrix for real. They're like, wait a minute.
No, there was actually people still defending the bugs in Fallout 76. They had bugs that were in Fallout 76 that were actually on Fallout 4. Like the bugs migrated. Like it was maddening, and people were still defending that game. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, so I will defend a little bit of Bethesda. I mean, like they got. I mean, obviously they got. Yeah. I mean, obviously
that's cap, man. That's cap.
Yeah, you can man. You don't need to defend them.
No. The one thing I will say, like their games, the focus of their games is different. It's really not about the story. You know, it really is about just playing in the sandbox. Like I put in a lot of hours with Bethesda games in the past. I have never beaten a story. I just go around and do a bunch of dumb shit, and I think that's kind of the point. It's really it's not about like making a beeline and trying to quote unquote beat the game. It's kind of like living in the game, and I even to this day, a lot of their games are played heavily, and that like the mods really keep those things going as well. The reason why they are so buggy is they're just because they're not streamlined. There's a lot of variables and a lot of like interdependent things, and just like everything in the world kind of you can pick up and put somewhere else, and so I think that like I said, I just think that I think that type of game is just conducive to. It's just going to have bugs because I just don't know that you can find a team of people that are going to be able to test every possibility in there. But I do understand why why some like Slow-Mo's prefers Obsidian, and I guess I'm more at this point. I'm probably more excited about Avowed than Starfield because I think I'm there a little bit. I want to see that balance between the story and the sandbox thing, and I think Obsidian is capable of pulling off both. Like I mentioned before, they have the better writers. There was one of the writers that was actually on Iron Lords a few months back, and she was like talking about out of the studios she's worked for, like they have really the best tools she's ever worked with. And if you go online, you can see some of the things they use. If you look it up on YouTube, you can see they have some really interesting things they're using to kind of help with the dialogues and like basically you have these automated actors and actresses and things like that. It's just some crazy stuff. It's like next level technology, and I am interested in seeing how they can kind of bridge that all together. Take the best that they do, which is storytelling, but bring it into something like that. Like try to merge the two. And I think Bethesda, I don't even know that they ever try to sell the fact that they're these. The linear or the story that's self-contained story in each game, the main story is ever really something memorable. I don't think anybody ever really talks about those games like that. That's just those games are just really there to explore and play around.
I remember the story.
You think Starfield is going to be more along that line, where it's just like an open sandbox and we're just
I think so.
Lost and doing shit.
Yeah, they already said they're going back. They said
hard pass for me.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah. If they're gonna,
And it's gonna be interesting if it's this. I know they said they're supposed to be like working on a new engine, and it's supposed to be a new engine or whatever.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's
they
the
are.
thing that I think, like like
The
I somewhat
Boar's Head
agree with
engine.
you, like OBM, but at the same time, it's like Bethesda's like Bethesda, and they had like a pedigree. But I think they rode the fact that people let them get away with the charm thing, and they kept using that same engine. And that's why they had those bugs. Oh, well, people think it's cute, so why should we change the engine? And
Right.
that puts them on the same level with like Telltale.
Well, there's no excuse for Fallout 76 launching the way it is. So, like, it's not like fully capping on, but I guess going back again to like Skyrim and things like that, those games really set a bar that didn't exist at that time. And I think they were influential in the gaming industry. And that's why, that's why I think they had so much equity to work with for so long. That ran out when Fallout 76 launched. It did run out. So it's just like, you can only refinance your house so many times, roll your bills into, roll your debt into your house equity so many times before you run out of equity, right? And I think that's so that's what happened there. They have, so I am very excited to see what they're doing with the engine, because they haven't updated. This is going to be the biggest change to their game engine since Oblivion, which was a big change. If anybody played Morrowind, from that to Oblivion,
that was huge. Morrowind
it was
to Oblivion was huge, night and day. Yeah, no, but I think though that the charm of Bethesda games early on, I go back to the OG Xbox to bring up Morrowind. They were doing things that other games weren't doing, and then BioWare came in and did some of that. Took, I think, pieces of what Bethesda was doing, but not as large of a sandbox, if you will, but had something a little bit more focus that gave you kind of that open world vibe. But again, that more focused linear story, right? That kind of kept you more engaged. Because I think that's
but look, I mean, BioWare started with Baldur's Gate, though.
That's true. Baldur's Gate, yeah, that's
like
right.
there was Baldur's Gate.
Well, there was Daggerfall. There was Daggerfall, I think, before Baldur's Gate, if I'm not mistaken.
Was Daggerfall still?
Daggerfall was like open, but not. I mean, not
no.
Level.
What's the name of the studio they all came from? Obsidian, BioWare, and NXL all came from Interplay.
Interplay.
Yeah, it was Interplay.
Was it Interplay?
No, it was Interplay. That's where Fallout 1 and 2 came from. So I mean, what I wanted to say about the Creation Engine is that I saw the trailer, of course we all did, about Starfield, and I saw their comments saying that what we saw was in-engine, wasn't CG's in-engine. So it is Creation Engine running and actually rendering that. Now that said, there's two things with that. In-engine does not mean it's running on the Xbox Series X or even a PC that any one of us would have. That's in-engine. We don't know how it's being powered, and it has yet to be, say, managed for an environment, a hardware that can actually run that at a reliable frame rate yet. All that said, I think the visuals for Creation Engine were problematic, as B Money would say. You would have these ham face. I would never forget B saying that. That was like 4 years ago, and I still call them ham face characters because of B. But the other issue is the whole logic thing. So you look at game engines, and this is you can look this stuff up. I actually follow a YouTuber who now works at 343 who did a whole thing about how game engines work and what they are. And game engine is not like the engine in your car, but it's literally different assets and tools combined to make an engine. And so it's not like one thing altogether. It's like a lot of different things. But they really consist of visuals, sound, and logic. The logic part is like code. What's actually like executing the commands, what's running things when you input things in your controller, how the game is interpreting it, the commands that they're actually doing that. And that's the part of stuff, the logic, the issues where geometry is a problem. Those are like, we've seen that a lot. I saw a meme today on Twitter where some TikTokers, like a couple, are doing like these Skyrim like joke videos where they're like they're attacking one another with the weird animations, and the guy falls awkwardly, and then he goes into a dying glitch animation, and it's hilarious. But that's the logic side of things that people laugh at. But now it's kind of like, yo, can you fix this stuff? Because I'm tired of seeing that, right? So it's like those are the things, and especially as Enrique mentioned, where like some bugs that were fixed by mods from the community, but when they do a sequel, those same bugs are there, and it's like they never actually fix it. They just relied on the mod from the community to fix it. That's not. Yo, you should be fixing that with an update or a patch or something after launch. You should be taking care of things like that. Those are the things that I think should be concerning people in regards to Starfield. Not just that it visually looks better, but what about the other stuff that your creation engine is falling behind on? What about those things?
Yeah, well, actually, I did get a little bit of information about that, and again, like, so
Insider.
Okay, Mr. Insider, let's go.
No, I'm not an insider. Don't.
You one bad insider. That's your real name.
I'm not an insider.
OBI.
That is your name from now on. Matter of fact.
Oh my God, no.
Hold on.
Stop! Don't be starting freaking rumors and then.
Called him one bad insider.
I don't have access to do it. I was going to change your nickname in Discord to One Bad Insider, but it's true though. You know.
No, but it's funny you're talking about that, because actually we had a conversation with a developer that did work on. Well, he worked on a different engine. I'll say that, and it was and it basically an engine. It's like when people say they have like when you hear like 343 has a brand new engine or it's not really a new engine. It's like you're building on different systems and things like that onto the old one. But at the same time, like over time, like if you think about Unreal 3 to like Unreal 5, if you talk to a developer, it's like a completely different development, environment for them, right? And it does completely different things than it could do. So you can really and that's always so it's like there's a lot of like details that I guess until people can see it and they can really demonstrate it, that it's really vague to just say, hey, this is a new engine or it's an evolved engine. Sometimes an evolved engine can mean more than somebody says they got a brand new engine, just depending on what they're doing. Now with this one, I mean, from my understanding is that they're some of the focuses has been on like animations, procedural things like that. I also know there's a roadmap of things they're going to be adding in that's going to be all the way up through Skyrim. So there's a lot of ambition that this is really like their biggest jump. Like I said, since they went from Morrowind to Oblivion, which was a pretty big jump at that time. It's not just graphics; it's supposed to be. Because remind me if I'm wrong here, but I think in Fallout, can you even go up and down ladders? Like there are some real limitations in that engine that they've kind of worked over to allow them to go to different planets and have different ability to do different things that wouldn't have been possible there. So it definitely goes beyond just graphics. But from a graphic standpoint, I mean, I think you can already see from the demo they're going to be using photogrammetry. I don't know if I'm ever saying that right, but photogrammetry, which is something that you're probably going to see a lot of developers use on a lot of different game engines, and that is going to bring some sort of photorealism to a lot of games. And I think there's going to be a lot of focus on the characters and the animations and things like that, the facial animations and stuff. So obviously we got to see how they execute on that. I mean, I haven't seen them in action or anything like that. It's just this is just kind of what they're talking about. But that's really been the focus. It has been. It's not just on the graphics. It's really on the overall sandbox, the animations, the physics, all that stuff. And so it's supposed to be a lot more advanced. So I am very.
That's what I like. That's One Bad Insider. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, look at your name.
Not in its. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh,
Don't try to change it back. If you try to change it back, we're just going to change it again. So just
Yeah, we're
give
just
up.
gonna keep changing it, OBM.
son of a bitch.
Just
Yeah.
accept it.
I love it.
No,
Love
I
that
mean,
nickname.
like, the developers like
But-
say, developers will tell you like some of these things, and that Slow-Mo, I think you know a lot of the stuff too, because I've heard you talk about it. So you know, like how these things evolve,
Yeah.
and
Of course,
really
of course.
and so like even though it's called Creation Engine 2 or whatever, I mean it's if everything that they say that they're saying on paper ends up coming to fruition, it's going to feel like a new engine. It's going to look like a new engine. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. We're going to see probably more 6 months, 7 months, whatever, whenever the next E3 is, and they finally reveal it. But you know, going back to like we were saying earlier, it sounds from what Todd Howard has said, and they're really going back to trying to focus on this being going back to the sandbox, going back to the having an impact on the world. So it's really more player driven than it is story driven. Whereas Obsidian's game, from what Jez was saying, like just kind of like trying to sew all these things together. He said it's going to have a little bit of I don't remember if he said this in his article or he said this on Twitter, but from what he's seeing, it has a little bit more of the BioWare DNA in it, where it is going to, you know, you are going to have characters join with you, which makes sense. Like Pillars of Eternity has a lot of characters in it. You know, they do a good job building up these characters and things and you know, the world. And so I think, you know, there will be a far greater emphasis on story, which I think is going to be, it's something that, you know, it's going to be good for the, you know, the Xbox lineup, especially to have something a little more story driven. And it'll be interesting to see if they can bring in more of that BioWare DNA, which has also been sorely missing in the industry.
Old school BioWare DNA.
Old school, yeah.
We don't want that
stuff,
tainted. We don't want
yeah.
that tainted BioWare DNA. Now we don't want any of that. I mean, let me stop being messy.
No,
Look, I don't know what new BioWare has in store. Hopefully for Dragon Age 4, they're a lot better than what they have provided with Anthem and Andromeda, but. Yeah, I mean, like I'm more excited for what the studios that have been born out of BioWare from ex-BioWare developers that were like the core of what BioWare used to be than what BioWare is doing now. Yellow Brick Games, Archetype Entertainment. There's one more. I can't remember. I can't remember their name. It's not Aspire, but it's like 50 developers went to Aspire to do the Knights of the Old Republic remake, but there's another one that I'm trying to remember. But regardless, they matter of fact, it's your buddy Mike Laidlaw is running.
Yeah,
one
Mike.
of them.
Yeah, Mike is. Yeah, I'm trying to get him on, but he's like, I can't come on right now. I'm working on stuff. Like, cool.
Try to get him on right around the time they announce what their new game.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, definitely, man, definitely. So,
Yeah.
I want to go to the poll real.
Go
to
ahead.
the poll real quick, Slow-Mo, because we're gonna end the poll there. It looks like Obsidian won. 54% of the respondents said yes. Obsidian
as I knew
is
they
better
would.
than Bethesda RPGs. 46%
Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out
said
to y'all
no.
for having good sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
We got
Not going back
52%.
into the Matrix.
52% of people. Humanoid Studios, thank you.
Yes.
GKN Co. is at Casey Hudson Studio, right? Thank you.
Casey Hudson, yes.
Mike Laidlaw's is Yellow Brick, and Archetype Entertainment is where Drew Karpyshyn, who did the majority of the stories for Knights of the Old Republic and the majority of the Mass Effect trilogy, that's where he is. So thank you for that, because I was probably going to bang my head against the wall trying to remember who that was.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of studios, by the way, I do want to kind of pivot here a little bit. We talked about Blue Point, I think last week or maybe the week before. There's more rumors out there about Blue Point and Bloodborne. Could be a Bloodborne, maybe remaster of some sorts, and then from there a sequel to the Bloodborne game, the first Bloodborne 2. Now look, I'm at this point I would take a 60 FPS Bloodborne and pay $70 for it, and I don't care. You know why? Because I see value in it, and we'll talk about that later.
Value is subjective.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in a little bit, but certain is Bloodborne 2 and
unless you're a side scroller.
Yeah, unless if they do a side scrolling Bloodborne, I'm paying $100 for it. I don't care. Look,
You can pick up Salt and Sanctuary.
Yeah, right. Salt and Sanctuary. That's actually a good point, EJ. Yeah. So look, I'm either way. I'm hyped. I hope this is true. I hope this rumor is true. Like we heard about Bloodborne. God, when did we hear about that? Like, was it like a year and a half ago? We talked about this on the show. I think when we had Red Gaming Tech on. Do you guys remember that show? I think it was about a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah, it was about a year
Maybe
ago.
longer. Yeah, we talked
I'm trying to remember how I got here and what I did yesterday, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But if this is, and you remember, Colin Moriarty actually teased that Bluepoint was taking a trip down Old Yarnum Road or something. So I wonder if that's like I think more than likely we'll probably see some kind of remake remaster of Bloodborne. I'm still not sure about Bloodborne 2 as much as I want to see a Bloodborne 2. I think the likelihood is that we'll get a remaster of some sorts, and then like a PC port of Bloodborne, which would be phenomenal. Like Slobo, can you imagine? I know Slobo, you're not a big Souls Born fan, but I can't imagine playing.
I can't even say I can't be.
I
can't have really opinion on something I've never played. I've never played From Software games, so I don't. I don't
How
have.
do we get you to play Bugsnax? We should get you to play a From game.
Have you never even tried to play a From Software game?
No.
He refuses to.
Really?
It's they just don't appeal to me. Look. I start talking about why, like, people about to get real offended. Enrique gonna kick me out the Discord.
Yeah, you're about to get mute. I'm about to change your name to Fraud.
I feel like as somebody as gaming culture as you, Slomo, you need to at least pick it one up.
Let me tell you, the very first From Software game I saw was Demon Souls. Okay, and so like I remember people saying, "Yo, you gotta try this game. This is so difficult and everything." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." And I saw the gameplay and I was like, "Hell to the no, I'm not playing that. It's janky. I hate the way the characters move. It's slow as hell." I'm like, "Why would I play this?" Like, of course, people would say it's difficult. It's like you're fighting the controls and fighting the game at the same time. So I'm like, no, like, I'm not playing it. And so like every time they came out with Dark Souls, I'm like, look, it looks like slightly like better as far as combat than when I saw before. No. And it's just, I just been no on it because I just didn't care for that kind of gameplay, period. Now I'm probably going to end up having to play it because I made it a channel, like a thing on my Twitch.
Hey, real quick, Slow, Mr. Badbit's in the live chat, man. Big shout to Mr. Badbit. Says,
man,
I heard Bloodborne slander. I sensed it.
He always comes out when Bloodborne is.
That was his bad signal.
Exactly, yes. Man. He's like Candyman. just say Bloodborne sucks like 5 times to a mirror, and then like your lights go out and Badbit shows up behind you with like a skiff or something.
By the way, I do have a poll up for you, Slow-Mo. Should Slow-Mo play a Souls game? We have that poll up right now. One. So right now, the chat wants you to play 75%, 77%. Yeah, right. Someone's saying fraud alert. Ooh, okay.
How can you be? Look, y'all don't even know what fraudery is. Fraudery is saying, someone tried to hit me with this earlier today about like Forza Horizon. I was like, I dabble in Forza Horizon. Shout out to Erodimus who can't read, right? So,
leave that man alone, Slow-Mo. He can't read.
He got reading issues. I don't know. Maybe I need to get him hooked for phonics on for Christmas or something. Somebody remind me. I'll send it to him. But look, no, I said I dabble in Forza Horizon, and then like I showed like my time in both 3 and 4, and said for 5 I'm gonna do the same thing because I'm a casual, super casual racing fan. And he's all like, "You dabble in Forza," and I'm like, "Look at my stats. I actually posted my stats. This is dabbling. Like, if I only got like 60 hours in Forza Horizon 4, it ain't like I care about the game. It's beautiful. I'm gonna play it for like a week or 2, and then I'm a bounce. That's it. So it's just like I said, the gameplay looks janky and trash to me. I didn't say it was janky and trash. It looks that way. So I don't care for it. Maybe if I played eventually, then it'll be like, oh, I was wrong. It was great. I love it. But until then, it looks janky and trash, and I'm not gonna play it unless somebody force me to.
You gotta play it, man. Like, you can't You can't look at it and say, "Oh, it's janky, it's trash." You got to play it, man.
Okay.
You have to try it and
Enrique.
play it yourself, man. Yes.
Enrique, when the last time you played 2K?
I'm just waiting on B, man.
Huh?
I'm waiting on B.
What?
Well, but I'm not. Wait, first of all,
every day.
Play
I'm
and
not.
money.
Okay,
He's
I'm
waiting
not.
on you.
No, but I'm not out here saying that 2K is janky and stuff. I'm not making any of those claims. What does that have to do with?
Hey, I heard the
playing Souls
playground
games?
mode is like a whole different animal than the actual game. Like your creative player be dunking on fools in the game, and they get the playground mode. You can't make a layup. I mean, but this is what I hear. You know, I don't know anything, but I'm not saying that's exactly how it is because I haven't played it. I did not say Bloodborne sucks. I didn't say that. You know, I didn't say From Software games are trash or overrated. Nothing like that. I said for me, I look at it. I feel nothing for it when I see those games. Like I don't feel any tingle.
Slow-mo, do you
like,
see there's a problem?
I should play this. Like
There's a
none of
problem
that.
here though. You played Bug Snacks and you won't play.
That wasn't my choice. It's like
How did
Okay,
you
look,
not make?
you gotta give
Enrique
Bloodborne a try.
and start drama. Enrique know
But
damn
that
well
was
that
a-
you ain't running to put
I
in a
lost a bet. And I played Bucks and Axe. That's what that was. I lost a bet and I played Bucks and Axe. That's what that was. Okay. Like you got people out here thinking like Slow-Mo love Bucks and Axe but hate From Software games. That's like, no, that's not true. Like Bucks and Axe gave me nightmares. I couldn't sleep for like 2 weeks. Okay. So yeah.
Sir Nick in the live chat saying you played Bug Snacks, but you won't give Bloodborne a try. I mean,
Hey.
I don't disagree with him.
I was forced to play Bucks Snacks. Look, I might be. Look, if someone hits the channel rewards on my Twitch channel, I'll be forced to play a From Software game.
Yeah,
That's
so I'll
way
say
it
this,
works.
Slomo, you need to at least try to beat a couple bosses in a From Software game, and then you can decide at that point in time if you want to keep going. Because I feel like I looked at Dark Souls the same way. Like it looked like a janky game. It didn't really. I didn't get the appeal. I remember I picked up Dark Souls 3 like on a deep sale a couple years after it released. Maybe it was a year after it released. And I jumped in the game. I got my ass handed to me. I got to the first boss and I think he just blew me up like 5 times in a row. I turned it off. I didn't turn it back on for 6 months. And then one day, I don't know, I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, I quit that game like a little bitch. And I was like, I'm just going to beat the first boss and then say that I didn't quit because I got angry or because it was too hard, and then once I get past the first boss, I can move on to other games. And I just remember like the rush I got finally doing that, kind of figuring out how the game played. And I was like 80 hours later, nobody else saw me online for like the next couple weeks. All I did was play Dark Souls 3. And that kind of pulled me into the From Software thing. I think the From Software games, you don't get them until you kind of get it, like you get the loop, you get what it's trying to do. You won't really understand. It's hard to articulate. And I don't know that it sells itself really well, just like on videos and things like that. So you really do got to play it, get in there. It has a lot of, if you grew up on old school games, I feel like it brings a lot of those elements from like the 2D era where, you would try over and over again. You learn the patterns. Yeah. You remember Castlevanias, the early ones?
Yes.
Like you get past the day I got past the Grim Reaper, I put it on pause. I went out and yelled to all the kids in the neighborhood to come over to my house and watch the the animation play out after I beat them. Like that kind of stuff. And I think it's like it brings you back to that, and even like
it does.
The world designs from like Bloodborne and like Dark Souls 1 specifically, like they were kind of like it brings that Metroidvania-ish type of feel to like a 3D world. And so I think that's where it got me. It almost like rekindled a lot of that like a gamer part of me that kind of wasn't there for a while, because I don't think I was looking for challenging games or anything like that. And then once that clicked, it was like it all of a sudden it made me want to play more of that stuff. So I would say you have to at least try to beat a boss or two. Go up against something kind of challenging, get past it, see if it's clicking or not, and then decide if you want to keep going and put the hours in.
Okay, let me just say this. like y'all look at these From Software games and y'all just be like, man, like they moving so slow. Y'all just be like, man, like the combat looks really stale. Like that's
I
not
never
like
feel that way.
I never feel that way at all. The combat's never stale.
No, in fact, it feels pretty. That's the other thing
Pretty
about
fluid.
it. It feels very. It's meant to be heavy, right? Like, well, the Dark Souls ones especially are meant to be like really feel heavy, but they're responsive, and especially if you play them at least in 60 frames, which that's the thing that Bloodborne needs.
that wouldn't be Bloodborne.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Sekiro was-
Bloodborne out.
You can get that with Dark Souls though.
I thought Sekiro is probably the one game from that feels very like light per se, like how you say in OBM, like it's the antithesis to Souls in terms of how Souls feels weighty, right? Sekiro is not that at all.
Yeah, Sekiro feels more like a ninja game.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sekiro has a little bit of almost like a feel that you would get from like a boxing game or something, where it's like almost like you're doing body blow, and then you're going for the kill shot kind of thing. Not exactly, but that's kind of it. It's got a really interesting rhythm that's not in any other game. What's the oh my god. But yeah, I think Slow-Mo, if you like, I think if you grew up on classic games, you definitely need to try it. It does not feel janky, especially at 60 frames. So
it's
fair.
So it feels differently than it looks.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, it does.
So.
And by the way, I was laughing because I was thinking about. Big shout out to Kid Smooth, by the way. I was thinking about his live gameplays with Sekiro.
Oh yeah.
That my man was having a fit with that game, and I was.
Did he break his controller?
He almost did. But some of it was kind of comical, man, and it was pretty funny. He was really angry with that game.
Yeah, the gorilla that runs around with his head in his I won't spoil it, but anyway.
Oh, the ape, the ape. That's actually a great boss battle, by the way. I really enjoy that boss battle.
You're having a wrong conversation in here with Slow-Mo. I'm letting y'all know that now.
Oh, my man, Forte.
Y'all having a wrong conversation with Slow-Mo. Y'all don't want Slow-Mo to play a Bloodborne game or a From Software game on his own volition. Y'all need to go to that man's chat. Sit in his chat on Twitch.
No. They
need to go sit. No, listen, y'all need.
I don't have a chat. I don't have a Twitch channel.
Oh yeah, y'all need to go to this man's Twitch chat. Sit in it. Accumulate all those points like your boy doing. Because listen, he will play these games, but you don't want him to do it on his own. You want him to suffer. You want him to go in and feel like he's forced to play something that he don't want to play. Because as long as y'all ain't gonna get the experience y'all want out of him if he goes places by himself. You gotta force him to play this game. So go to everybody. It's what is it? www.twitch.com.
It's Basement Radio Arcade.
Listen, www.twitch.com, twitch.tv.
That's my Twitch channel, Basement Radio Arcade.
Oh my God. People know that's not true.
Twitch.com/TV/Slow-Mo /. That is that man's Twitch channel. Please go over there, sub to the channel. Just work and lurk, y'all. It's the power of work and lurk. You will get there, and all we need is somebody to have 50,000 points, Slow-Mo, and you have to play us from
for now.
No, you can't change it. You can't.
Why can't I change it? I have to write the chat.
Because I am sitting right now, and I think I'm sitting somewhere around 16,000. So yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. It might take 2 years, but it's gonna happen.
I think we need to do that. Real quick, I want to get the super chat from.
It's about to be 75K. It's like I won't change it. I won't change it. But still, like,
let me grab the super chat from T-Rock 40 to $2 super chat. Says Slow-Mo will be playing From Software. It's inevitable. I can't even talk. Inevitable.
Inevitable.
Jesus, I can't.
That Team America. It is inevitable.
All right, thank you for that super chat, T-Rock. Forte, man, great to see you, man. We're going to talk about FOMO in a little bit, Forte.
FOMO, I admit that FOMO's pissing you guys. I've been at work all day,
bro.
On a day off.
Bro, Forte.
Been off today.
We're going to talk about FOMO, but Yeah, let's talk about Back for Blood. I had the opportunity to play last night with some randoms, and then play with Slow-Mo for a little bit, and Lemieux66.
Shout out to Holly.
Yeah, shout out to Holly. Let me tell you, Holly was great. What a great decoy, by the way.
Oh man, that was great.
Yeah, Holly was great. Just sit there and let the
zombies
just focus on you while we go plant C4.
So the story behind this is that there's this part at the end of Act 1 where you have to plant these bombs on like a big cruiser ship and blow it up so that kind of like save yourselves as you get away. And like the AI, so it was me, Enrique, shout out to Lemieux. Lemieux was with us. And then because it's 4 people, and there's always 4 people there. If you don't have 4 people, then they give you a bot. And the bot wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. But, the typical stuff. But at this particular part, like the bot was playing the part of the character, Holly. She just refused to get like past the ship and over to where we were. And she just would bug out, and her whole body would just start jerking and stuff, like she was made by like Bethesda or something. And it was just like, yo, what is happening here? And so we're shooting all the zombies around her, trying to give her more time to come to us, but the bot ain't working. So we just said, you know what? We could use her as a decoy. We got the bombs. They just ripping her apart. We went on down, playing the bombs. She failed. We picked her up. She still couldn't make it. So we said, forget it, because the bomb's about to go off. So we thank Holly, because Holly, the glitch bot, saved us, because we tried that the first time and we all got bodied. And this time, they were too busy focused on trying to kill her. And I don't even know how she was surviving, because she couldn't even shoot back. I don't even know what was going on, but it's just, hey.
Yeah, she was just like standing there, man. It's weird. Yeah.
That sounds like me when we played Warzone together. But yeah,
actually, OBM was.
I was the bait.
You were the bait.
Just lay out there, let them shoot you to death, and we'll come and revive you after we, get whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much how that worked.
Yeah, so it's definitely just my quick thoughts on Bloodborne. I'm sorry, Back for Blood.
Best on PC.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that real quick, Slow-Mo. I actually had played it on Xbox Series X first, and I was like, okay, it looks okay. And then I saw that Slow-Mo was streaming on Twitch, and I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and grab the PC version real quick. Hopped into Slow-Mo's Discord, got the PC version through Game Pass, because I have Game Pass Ultimate. Fired it up, and I was like, what'd I say to you, Slow-Mo, the first thing? I was like, man.
It's like every 30 seconds.
I was like,
this game looks so good.
It looks so much better on PC. So much better on PC. And like, I looked at my frame counter. I'm at 144 FPS. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then we get in game, and I'm like over 100 FPS with zombies and stuff. Even with the big zombies coming at us, I was still over 100 FPS. And I'm like, the game just plays so much better on PC. Looks better on PC. And I enjoyed it that much more on PC than I did Xbox. I was telling OBM about this, or OBI as I should call him now, One Bad Insider.
Jesus.
Yes.
I said to him, I was like, this game looks a little washed out on my Series X.
Insider.
One bad insider.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
Sound like Ricky about the cap for PC right now.
Hey, you know what, Forte? You know what? It's okay to cap, sir. You cap. Everyone caps at some point, right? Yeah. Look, but it ain't really capping if it's true.
You admitted it. At least you admitted it.
But it ain't really
even our guy, we had somebody from Xbox Era, Jesse, he reviewed it, and he said that the PC version was it felt like it was almost like it was tuned for the PC version, is what he said. So hopefully they can make the Xbox version a little bit smoother, but you're not the first person that said that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's definitely the DNA of Left 4 Dead is definitely there. I think for me, like, this would be this is a game that if I wanted to play with friends and just shoot the shit, this would be that game, right? Because I had a good time playing.
That was Left 4 Dead as well.
Yeah, that was Left 4 Dead as well. Yeah,
because like if you played Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 solo, that wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun at all. No.
You got 3 AI bots that they don't move as fast as you want to move. You know, if you're a Left 4 Dead veteran, you know you don't be just slowly moving through the map. No, you gotta,
chucking it.
you gotta be moving, man. Like, don't be sitting around waiting for the horde to come after you and setting the music go. Like, you know, the sound, so you be like, oh crap, here we go.
Right.
Like, that's when you need to hunker down and like, you know, find like a room or something and have like one point of entry to kill all the zombies as they come at you. But when that's not happening, you need to be moving and getting to like the next checkpoint, the next safe house as quickly as possible. And with bots, they don't do that. They be just moving aimlessly, and they're always behind you. They get yoked up by somebody. You gotta go back and save them, because in Left 4 Dead, the key thing is that, and Back 4 Blood, is that you can't survive alone. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you're a FPS god. As soon as you get yoked up by a zombie, there is zero way for you to get out of it. You can't shoot your way out of it. You can't melee your way out of it. You're done if you have no one else to come help you. So you need teamwork. It's very important. And when you have a bot with you, it's just not the same. There's no communication, because who you talking to? Nobody. So it's hard to come together with strategies when you're the only person doing something. And so you need to play it with other players. And it's a good game. It's one of those games that's designed around co-op. So when you do have people to play with, you're almost guaranteed to have fun. Yeah. But if you don't, it's just not worth playing. And that's true.
Yeah. It's a good party game.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I played with Cognito and a couple of his friends and stuff a couple days ago, and it was like, oh man, I said Black 4 Blood. I don't know if I want to play it.
You say Black 4 Blood?
I said Back 4 Blood.
Y'all celebrity names.
Black 4 Blood? Is that Black 4 Blood?
Yeah, Black 4 Blood.
Did you hear that too, Slow-Mo?
I can't go up to FedEx and change that receiving address.
Forte,
wow,
do not let Enrique clown you, man. He couldn't say inevitable.
Oh, I already know.
I speak 2 languages. Hey, I speak 2 languages. What's his excuse,
like 3 B's in there.
No, so I was playing with the celebrity.
You sound like Fat Lip from Fat Albert. Inevitable.
Yeah, so we was playing with the celebrity. And y'all silly playing with the celeb.
I mean, you so blessed, Forte. You get to play with Lord Cognito. I never get to play with
Cognito.
You know,
oh, man.
No, you talking about Hollywood Cognito.
Playing with finding
the Lordy Duke Cognito.
Yeah, man. Playing with Cognito is a dream, man. You know, that man barely plays games anymore because he's on so many shows. But it was a ball, man. And the one thing I did want to say is I do think a lot of people and I noticed.
I just saw your tweet, E.
And I know
I had you, man. I can't help it.
What did he tweet? What you tweet?
Oh, you got it.
What you tweet? You gotta go.
He's wild.
Did somebody clip something?
No, he said.
Oh yeah.
He said, I'm trying to say the word inevitable.
Oh Lord. No, but yeah, so I was, I think I noticed a lot of people when they were talking about the performance of the game. And it seemed to be a lot of people, for the most part, I ain't gonna say everybody, but if you have a PC that you can play this game on, it will be.
That's the best way.
It will be the more optimal way to play the game. I played it on the Series X, and I think sometimes we get to the point where we
wait. Forte, did it look washed out to you a little bit? Like
I'm gonna literally tell you, like I'm telling you, I didn't even pay attention to that because when I jumped into the game, I was like talking
by Hollywood Cognito.
I was talking to Cognito. No, I talk to Cognito every day, but I was just playing the game. I was just playing like 2 random people that I didn't know that Cog knew, and we were just in there talking, and they were like showing me like some of the stuff because I barely played in the beta, so I was asking, so what's different in the beta? What did they fix? And one things I did notice that the horde does come from behind you a lot more in this beta. I mean, in the game than they did in the beta. Like the ones
that blow up, man, they just jump out of nowhere.
They come from everywhere. So that's the one thing I
hate
notice.
the ones that the new ones they got on the walls now. Like you
Yes,
don't
they'll
even
jump on the wall and spit at you and stuff.
Slow-mo kept getting assaulted by you basically getting molested, Slow-mo, by these.
Yeah,
No,
I feel
listen, I
like
kept-
within like 10 seconds, I got attacked by 3 of them. I was just like, yo, seriously, come on, man. Like,
Well, at
it's
least your luck wasn't every time you go through a door, you're the one that triggers the alarm and sounds the horde. I was like walking through so many doors,
real
and they
quick.
were just coming.
Forte, I'm sorry, I will let you finish your point, but
Yeah.
so I have some people argue about Metacritic scores about the PlayStation review better than Xbox. Well, let me settle this argument. PC has the highest Metacritic of all platforms, so I just wanted to say that. But go ahead.
I don't
Forte.
care. I don't even look at Metacritic anymore. I stopped looking at it a long time ago.
Go ahead.
But
Forte.
no, but I do think for the most part, a lot of people that have a PC when they see the game, and like in your case, you were looking, like some people go into these games looking for performance things, whereas for me, I just went in and played the game.
I wasn't looking for performance. So
Well,
man.
Brad,
like, it's just something I noticed.
Brad, listen, you are one of those people that pay attention to all of those finer details in the game when you first boot it up, especially if it's a game you can play on both platforms. Let's be for real.
No, I honestly like I
Brad?
came. No, listen,
Brad.
I came into this game just to
go
play
ahead.
it online, to stream it, play with some
Okay.
randoms, and
Yeah.
then I never even thought about getting it on PC until I saw Slummo playing on PC. I'm like, you know what? Let me join Slummo on PC. I will join Discord, play, because he was like, "Are you gonna hop on Discord?" So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let me just jump on the PC version.
and it changed his life.
And it just changed. Like,
Changed
so it
his
happened by
It
accident. Like,
changed my life.
it did. Like,
So you wait. So the fact that you went on PC and the first thing you noticed was, oh my God, the God rays are really God rays in this game.
bro,
when you
it
play
was
on
so
PC.
noticeable. It really was.
I mean,
man.
I guarantee you it is noticeable, but the biggest thing
But, like,
for me is
it
it always
was
comes
really
back
noticeable.
to it's not that noticeable, Brad.
Nah,
it's
dude,
noticeable,
Forte.
but it's
Did
not
you
that.
Forte.
play it on PC?
Yes, I did. I
Forte?
downloaded it on PC.
So I say, did you play it on PC?
Yeah, I played the first mission on PC.
I don't know, Forte.
Because you said you did the crossplay with Cognito. You were
No, I did it on Xbox first, and then I did it on PC later that day.
I thought and it could be my TV
uh-huh.
too. I think you have Forte. Did you have an OLED?
No, sir.
Oh.
I have a gaming monitor. Something that goes up.
Oh, well,
to
that's why, because you played it on your
frames per
gaming.
second.
Well, that's why, because you played on. Well, that's why, because you played on your
he's-
monitor.
He's talking about his Xbox. You play your Xbox on your monitor, right?
I play my Xbox on my monitor too.
Yeah, well, that's why you didn't notice the
that's
difference.
still 60. That's still 60 frames, though. You know.
But
No,
I'm saying,
120.
visually though, I felt like it visually looked better.
I don't know.
So I
Does
felt
that
like it
game
looked-
get up to 120? I don't think it does.
I don't think it.
I don't
does,
think
no.
so now on Xbox.
No, but my point was, it looked a little washed out on my TV set.
I get you. If it looked,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I just think for myself, I didn't even think about that until you said it in the podcast when I was listening to y'all earlier. When you said it looked a little washed out, I'm thinking to myself like, damn, did I even pay attention to that shit? Looking
Well, because
washed
you're playing
out
on
like
monitor,
that?
man. That's why you probably didn't notice as much difference because you're playing on
Well,
monitor.
yeah, that's the beauty of playing on a monitor.
Yeah.
Everything is
Low-
balanced.
the refresh rate's extremely low. So,
Huh? Whoa.
I mean, high. My bad.
Oh,
Look,
I'm like, what did you
I'm-
sleepy?
I'm dyslexic today.
he said the refresh rate is really low.
Yeah. I mean, again, but again, I think it's a fun game, definitely with friends for sure.
It is
Like,
really fun. It's the only.
Yeah.
I can't see myself playing that game by myself.
Yeah.
To the point where we played until about we started at midnight and played till like 2:30 in the morning, and it was like I didn't want to stop playing. But I was tired and I had to go to sleep because I had to work the next morning. But I was sitting there like, man, I just kind of want to keep going because I know I'm not going to want to play this by myself, and finding a group of people that are actually playing it that I know on a consistent basis to go through the whole campaign is probably not going to be that easy, especially after the first week.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man.
Yo, I had a hard time finding people that had even made it to Act 2 yet. So like I made it past Act 1 before I played with Enrique. I did it with some randoms. It was fine, right? They were kind of annoying on the mic, but whatever, right?
Oh,
So So I did that.
Speaking of that, before you go to speaking on that, what is our thoughts on the message that pops up about having to opt in and have our voices recorded when you're playing the game?
I'm just glad that they are admitting
At
it
least
up front.
they're admitting it up front, right?
It's not like that they haven't been doing stuff like that, already. So
I mean, that's not new. Let's be real. That's definitely
It's not new, but it's very new for them to be very bearish on the fact that we're going to say, "Hey, this is what we're doing." For
the purposes of moderation.
Turn it off. You can't even turn off.
Maybe it would deter some of the ignorance that you may see from people, but maybe I doubt it. But hey, at least people were warned ahead of time. But no, so the amount of people who weren't able to make it to Act 2 was kind of staggering to me because if I'm just starting from the beginning and I match made in, I will find people in seconds. But just being on the last safe house to end Act 1 or trying to start Act 2, and I'm trying to match make with people, and it's just like spinning for days, and I'm like, I can't find anybody that's on Act 2 yet.
This game's on Game Pass, man. Ain't nobody playing,
and it's got crossplay.
Oh yeah, it's got crossplay.
So it's just like, what? Either nobody's playing this game, or people are quitting it before they getting bodied and they just can't get past it, Act 1, or they're just quitting before they get to Act 2. I don't know what it is, but I can't.
Or they had to go to bed.
It's an adrenaline rush.
They had to go to bed. Yeah.
I mean, it was just day one, so we gotta throw that caveat out there.
Everybody went to bed at 9 p.m. One bed inside it. Really?
I don't know. I'm just saying,
One bed inside.
It could be you're just on the
four people on the East Coast to play one game with me.
He said 4 people.
I'm just trying to think of reasons. I don't know. I haven't looked
Literally
at that.
everyone was asleep, but
right.
they're all playing at the very first beginning of the first act.
They weren't as good as you. I don't know.
Hey,
I wouldn't say that.
Did it in the preview.
Hey, has anyone else played this game outside of me, Forte, and Slow-Mo?
I have not yet. I definitely want to, so hopefully I'll catch you guys. My time for game has been like so jacked up lately.
Yo, we should do a BRAP one.
Yeah, we should do a BRAP one. We should do one like
We actually talked about that last night. That we should all we should get together and do like Back 4 Blood or something. Something multiplayer together.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. It'd be fun, man, to do that. B, did you
stream it? Everybody get on camera, and if you get
get some points.
If you get hit, if you get hung up by a zombie and he puts you down, you got to take a shot. It'd be a great night.
Oh my! Wow!
Man.
Hey, we're not finishing that mission. I can tell you that right now.
I already know. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, bro. We could go through that mug, put it on the second hardest difficulty, and if you get put down, you got to take a shot. Let's go. Let's do it.
That doesn't sound like fun, man. That sounds like
that is fun.
It's going to be people mad because of friendly fire. And look, it's one of
yeah, exactly. I played with Slow-Mo. I'm like, Slow-Mo, why is your guy crouching the whole time? He's like, I don't want to get shot in the back.
I was like, yo, the two guys we was playing with, Enrique, kept shooting me in the back. I was just like, bruh, yo, why am I getting shot? Like every time a zombie pops up, like literally every time.
You know what's funny?
We were playing on the difficulty we were playing on, because if it was higher, I think it's like 50% of the damage that your weapon does. You get hit with friendly fire. I've been dead 3 times over with the way I was getting shot at. So. Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, the axe or any melee weapon, it's so OP, it's ridiculous. Like,
oh yeah,
I was Slow-Mo and I were in this like house or something, and the zombies are funneling through this one door, and I'm just sitting there spamming the right trigger button, and my axe is just like total axe motion, just hacking them, one hit. I mean, it's a little. It's crazy how OP the axe and the bats are in that game.
We just missing a golf club. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, the golf club. Yeah,
It's always a counter to like Left 4 Dead. So let's say if you just ran around with the axe the whole time, then it's going to be those like the Spider-Man or the I call them the lickers, but that's not what they call. What they yoke
lickers,
you
that's
up.
some freaky shit, man.
Hey, well, in Left 4 Dead, I used to call them that because like the guys with the tongues that would like
Lickers.
they would hit you. They'd be on the rooftop across the street, and they'll stick their tongue out, and they'll like basically choke you up and yank you over to them, and you can't get out. And so it's like there's no way to kill that guy when like you got projectile vomiting zombies that can hit you from range. And if you just got like a melee weapon, or you've just been using a melee weapon, you need to kind of mix it up.
Hey, real quick, we got like 100 people watching. Let's hit that like button, everyone. Or if you want to downvote, I don't care. I was some of the live chats. Yeah. So, hey, B, have you had a chance to play this, man?
Nah, man. I downloaded it, but I didn't get a chance to play it yet. So hopefully, either later tonight or tomorrow, I'll jump in there.
Yeah, we got to run some games. Yeah, we definitely got to get some games. It's like I say, it's a fun party game.
Listen, man, y'all the reason we still out here popping rare achievements, man. Y'all downloading the game but ain't playing it.
Yeah, I got a couple achievements last night.
I need y'all to download. I need y'all to play the game. The game's actually pretty fun, man. I not saying nothing against you guys, just because a lot of people just downloaded it. That's the one thing I did.
On us, not the whole Xbox community.
No, that's on everybody. There's a reason. Listen, there is a reason that we're still popping legendary achievements, because every time somebody downloads the game and launches it, even if it's for half a second, they count, and that achievement those achievements pop up, and to just keep driving down the engagement on the trophies.
Oh, that's only gonna happen more often as more games get in the Game Pass, man.
Oh yeah, literally every
rare achievements.
Literally the first, I think I popped 8 achievements in the 2.5 hours I played. Every last one was a rare one.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I was in there at the moment that it launched, but still.
Did you get an achievement for playing with Cognito?
Oh, man, that's an achievement in itself. You didn't know?
I'm gonna pull up for that, because people get upset and offended when you say rare achievements are still popping in games, and they come in with their science degrees and percentages.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care. I just
pushing their glasses into the center of their face. Well, actually, if you really look at the diagram of what the percentage
the Venn diagram.
Yeah. It's like, dog.
I look at the trajectory.
Popping in Psychonauts.
I got 10 achievements in 4 hours playing it, and I'm trying to. I don't know if the Xbox PC app shows your comparisons compared to the rest of your friends list. I think only the mobile app does that.
Yeah, or the what is it called? Glass app.
Oh, that does it too. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. E, go ahead.
Oh no, I was done. I'm done clowning.
OBM changed his name back.
Play these games, people. Play these games. Get out of these spaces.
Yeah.
He was slick.
I don't know.
We were chatting, and he's like quiet. I'm like, I look up. I'm like, oh. Man. I see what you did, OBM.
I was listening. I was at work just listening to people in spaces all day, and then all of a sudden I looked. I said, "Man, is this the same space?" And I looked. I said, "Oh no, they changed the title."
Well, there's a spaces. Actually, there's a spaces going on right now about is Metacritic.
Is it still going? Oh man, shout out to Kay Asante and them keeping that hope alive.
Yeah, the importance of Metacritic, if it matters. Of course Metacritic matters. I'm not gonna get into why.
No, but that one started as
multiplayer versus single player.
Yeah, multiplayer versus single player games 4 hours before that.
I'm telling you, here's the thing about spaces. If you're gonna do 4 hours, you might as well podcast and get paid for it, right?
No, man, you get more engagement.
The interaction on spaces is just better.
Well, that's true, because you get to
everybody in the audience has a voice.
There's some people that shouldn't have a voice, in my opinion.
Yeah,
oh
of course.
Lord, here you go, man.
You mean like people telling you where you should be spending your money?
Yeah, or telling me that Nintendo's ripping off gamers, like that segue.
I helped you segue there. You like that?
Thank you. I saw what you did, OVM.
He said we want to move on with this conversation.
Yeah, is Nintendo ripping off gamers? Because look, so it actually
was 343 ripping us off by giving us a game with with basically a campaign and no co-op and stuff. One Bad Mother, are they ripping us off?
You know, I'm a Halo fanboy, so I'm Jade. I mean, so I'm. What do you say? I'm in the bag there.
He's in the bag.
I'll be playing that over and over again. So, yeah.
But look,
are they ripping us off because they ain't giving us a game with a system that some people are going to buy for $50 more than market price? Are they ripping us off?
No.
So here's okay. So real quick, I want to say something like FOMO is real, right? And I bring up this FOMO story because. Look, I called the Nintendo Switch OLED released Friday? Was it last Friday, Forte? I think it was last Friday.
It was Friday. It was
last Friday,
less than a week ago.
And I'm on Twitter and I'm like, I see everyone. Oh, I got my Nintendo OLED. I'm like, oh, shiny thing. I must have it. And I call
that's definitely FOMO.
I call my GameStop. Oh, we're sold out. And I call Forte. I'm like, Forte. I'm breathing heavily. I'm like, FOMO. And I'm like, Forte. He's like, oh, man, if you would have called me.
That FOMO we have you in a chokehold.
Seriously, I got like my.
Every time with Enrique, man.
I got my inhaler out, and I'm calling Forte. Forte's like, oh, he's like, if you would have called me 15 minutes ago, I would have got one for you. I'm like, oh.
What you looking for again?
A Switch OLED.
A Switch OLED.
Yeah.
Why?
FOMO.
I'm in your pocket, dog.
Why?
What you need that for, dog?
Yeah, why did you need that? Why you get it? What was I gonna say? So I'm calling Forte, and then I think Forte calls me back later. He's like, I got you one. Good looking out, by the way, Forte. He's like, I got you one. Yeah, so Forte. But look, the FOMO thing is real. And I bring up the FOMO thing because this kind of ties it to the topic. You may think that the extra $50 isn't worth it, like my man Slimo Backslap has said on many occasions. But I do. And that goes back to this idea that value is subjective. Period.
Yes, it is. Yep.
It's always, and that's for some reason in the gaming space. The laws and rules of the free market and consumer behavior and value, for whatever reason, just don't seem to apply for some reason. And it's maddening. It's crazy. Some of the shit that I see is crazy. And this thing started with the $60 version, or the Metroid Dread, which costs $60, and it's a side-scrolling 2D, and people are like, oh my God. Can you imagine if can you imagine if Sony put out a game like this, or Microsoft? Oh, they could never charge $60. They could if they wanted to. At the end of the day, the market dictates these things, right? Like, it's like, if the reason why Nintendo gets away with this stuff is because people see value in Nintendo products. That's it. That's it. And that's why they can sell a Metroid Dread, which is probably going to be the best-selling Metroid at $60 a pop.
Enrique, hold up a second. Wasn't there weren't people saying Psychonauts 2 wasn't worth $60?
Yeah.
Yes, people were saying that.
So the whole idea that like a game that people this is what's really going on is people are placing their own personal value of a game on other people. So we're hearing Metroid Dread isn't worth $60. Now to me, it's not worth $60 to me. But also, no Metroid games are really worth it to me anyway. If it was $6.50, I wouldn't get it. But that's me. But that's me, right? I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say. Look. I'm saying that's just my personal. Like, I don't want to play it, right? But like Psychonauts 2, like if it wasn't in Game Pass, I would have spent $60 on Psychonauts 2. I really enjoyed that game. Yep, that was worth $60. When I finished it, I was like, if I had to pay for that, that was a $60 game. That was worth it. Now, someone else may be like, nah, fam, I'm looking at the visuals and I don't like the art style. No, it's not $60. But that is your own personal value system on what you enjoy in games. there are people who love 2D side scrollers, and I think I was actually discussing or arguing with somebody on the internet, and they tried to say that like
Probably arguing.
Huh?
I said probably arguing because nobody discusses anything.
Right. It was definitely an argument, right?
Can I let me just interject here real quick. I gotta. So this is the kind of stuff that I find funny. This guy in the chat says if Metroid Dread can be $60, we should still be playing SNES games. What's the point of Generations? What?
I don't know how he got to that leap of logic.
Do you have to the jump to conclusion maps from the movie Office Space? How the fuck did you arrive at, like how the fuck did you arrive to that conclusion? I'm shocked right now, sir.
I'm still
man. I forgot. I was supposed to keep Enrique from swearing at people in the chat today. I've already failed my role. I'm just shocked.
Your penance is that you have to change your name back to One Bad Insider.
No, I mean, look, I'm like that. I mean, think about this. Like, B, you hear that comment, B Money, right? And you're a pretty level-headed guy, B. What do you like? Are you like, what's going on here? Is that the first thing that comes to your mind, B?
Of course, man. I don't understand, but I deal with the same situation every year. I mean, I get hyped for 2K, and everybody's like, "Yo, 2K is not worth $60. There's microtransactions. There's this. There's that. It's the same game every year. Yada yada yada." I hear this shit every year, but like, that's not gonna stop my enjoyment. And my value to the game. You know what I mean? I put thousands of hours into that game every year. So it could be $150. I don't care what the game costs. It's the game that I enjoy, the game that I'm going to put the time into. So that's all that matters. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Like, as long as you enjoy the title, it could be Metroid Dread or Psychonauts 2 or, Dragon Age, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever game that or product that you want to put your time into, that's all that matters. Everybody else's opinion doesn't really matter at all.
Exactly. And B, that's the thing. And the funny thing you could say to somebody is, the best thing about it is you don't have to play it.
Right.
but it seems to bug people when somebody goes off and does like their thing. And I don't want to derail Slow-Mo because he was on to a good point, but I just want to add to what Slow-Mo was saying. It sounds like there's two different arguments going on there. Like, people are putting, like you said, they're passing their judgment onto something because it's kind of feels like they're going back to like last generation when people were downplaying indies as just like side scrolling 2D, like sprite based, trash because it didn't have a AAA budget behind it. And the only games that matter are AAA games. And these are the same people that are like, it's dry out here, dog. I ain't got nothing to play because you only play, you only wait for first party AAA games.
Right.
Like 2 games a
one
year.
or two of those a year. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why you think it's boring out here. It ain't nothing to play. You only playing the biggest and baddest games. There's thousands of games that are released every year. Hundreds of them that are really good.
I'm about to change my name to where I have my name on Twitter as for the past day and a half, right? And that name is Godfall was $70 at launch. So the next time anybody tells you, "Oh, look at the way that game looks," that's not worth $60. Let them know, hey, did you buy Godfall by chance? Because Godfall was $70 at launch. Beautiful game, probably one of the best looking games that have come out in the past 2 or 3 years. Absolutely dog shit gameplay.
And there are plenty of AAA games like that have high graphics that are like,
yeah.
You know
so you
are for an hour and you're done, man.
Yeah, like why are you conflating visuals with quality?
Yeah.
And people talking about, well, the budget this, the budget that. What's the budget for Metroid Dread? What's the number? I have yet to see a single number. I can see people acting like they know the number based off of how the game looks. You don't know anything. What's the budget of Godfall? What's the budget of God of War? None of you guys have any of this information, but y'all talking about budgets. And furthermore, did you give a damn about the budget of the Jordans that you bought?
I was about to.
Did you? Because that's a $15 manufacturing per unit shoe that a lot of y'all spend $200-$300 if you didn't get it from a scalper, way more than that, to buy, and it sells out in seconds. So seriously,
made by a 10-year-old kid in Indonesia for like 25 cents an hour they're paying
Hey.
him.
Facts. So
Hey, it's Lobo. They
stop
probably
acting like
tweeted
any
it.
of that stuff matters. It doesn't. You
They
just don't
probably
like the
tweeted it.
game.
Yeah, they probably tweeted it from the Land Rover dealership when they're sitting there waiting for the car to be fixed.
Jesus.
Because those cars cost a lot, and they constantly breaking down. But hey, that's a value, right?
That's a thing. Like even with the Range Rover thing, man. Like people find value in those vehicles. That's
I
why
don't know
they
why.
buy them.
It's not
but
a
people,
bug, it's a feature.
But
Just
people,
kidding.
but it's
They always
wild
have
is
a loaner, Enrique. They always driving a loaner.
Yo, actually, no, that's funny you said that, man. I know somebody who had a Mercedes that always had a loader. I was like, yo, you get a new car? Nah, man, it's a loader. But you know what?
Clowning you in your Kia, but you like, I'm driving.
But I think you said this earlier, where people kind of put their glasses on, they get the degrees going. I think people are trying to make these sophisticated arguments to argue against the basic idea of the free market or how consumers buy products, in the sense that, look, the market at the end of the day, you and I have talked about this to death, OBM. The market at the end of the day decides what's successful. The market meaning us, the consumers. Consumers buy things based on value, what they see value in, and those things, those motivators, can be anything from nostalgia to God, what else?
Just the value of the IPs alone.
Fun, excitement, attractiveness.
Yeah.
Go ahead, OBM. Go ahead, man. Cut you off, man.
No, I mean, like, well, first of all, we know where it's coming from, right? Like, a lot of times when people are making these silly arguments, which you don't see in anything else, like, when's the last time you went to work and somebody like got on you about, how much did you spend on your shoes or your freaking pants, or or any other device or car or anything else you buy? It's a goofy thing that happens in the gaming community because people want to protect their investment. And so they want to justify the thing that they can afford to buy. So they want to justify their console or their platform or the couple games they invest in. And so the way they do that is by trying to diminish everything else to everybody else around them, because somehow that sort of protects their investment in their mind. And so that's what we see. That's where that all comes from, because we know, like, we're trying to talk about this logically. There's no, and it's so difficult because it just sounds so basic. And the reason is because it's not.
But OBM, isn't it very basic though?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, the thing I've said this before, like on this podcast and other places too, that like the consumers have never had more options across the board in terms of value, in terms of like the price range of games. Like if you think about, going back to when you were the Xbox beta tester and I was, on the verge of being a day one Xbox Live gamer. Remember we went into every single game you wanted, you had to go into the store and get, and it was $50 back then. But with inflation and things like that, what is that, like $70, $80 today? And like it didn't matter the size of the game. It had to somehow be able to be marketable or work within that particular very limited model. Today, you have games that span the entire spectrum of pricing. You have sales, you have things drop in price. Like consumers have so many options. It's like there's, arguing about if something's not worth it to you, then you leave it. Like if a $70 game isn't working out for you, it's not like it's anti-consumer. What to me, anti-consumer or things that are bad for the industry is like when you start taking away options from people. And that, like if you're trying to force, like if there was things on the platforms that were forcing every game to be much higher and you didn't have a choice maybe, or, you didn't have that many options to begin with, which is why there was so much backlash with the gold thing, earlier. But like when it comes to the games and things like that, like you can buy a really great, Hades. What was that? Like, was that a $20 game? I don't remember what it was, but like you can buy really great games for $20, $30. You have subscriptions. If you wait a little bit on the sale, you can get it there. And we had Last of Us 2 now coming. If for a cheap subscription, if you didn't pick up Last of Us 2, you can subscribe and go play that. That was a game of the year just a year ago. It's just, I mean, there's so many different options that I just don't think any of. it's not logical because it's based on emotion. People are they're trying to protect the thing they like. I do get annoyed too with, and that's the other part that he was talking about, that it seems like there's so much focus on the value being just in the graphics, and I don't even think that's the problem I have with that discussion is it really diminishes like so many great things out there in terms of like game design, things like that. And that's one of the things you got to factor. Like when people think something's worth more money, that doesn't look like God of War. It's probably because it's doing some other things, right? That maybe other games aren't doing. And, from what we've heard, and hopefully I'll be able to have time to experience it this weekend, is, the game design for Metroid and the way it feels and plays is kind of stands on its own. And so, and what kind of value do you put in that? There's only, you think about that. That's you think about people who are the best in their business, like whether it's, like you wouldn't pay the same amount to go watch somebody play backyard basketball as you would pay to watch LeBron, right? So somebody who's super talented or at the top of their industry in terms of creativity or game design, things like that, they're going to command more. They're going to command the full dollar. And let's just be frank. Nintendo has some of those people that they've been able to keep over the years and cultivate, and they keep making those games, and that's why they rate high, and that's why they sell jillions. Their attach rates are ridiculous on most of things because of those aspects of the game. And why hasn't anybody else been able to replicate, whether you like it or not, right? Like I know, like it's almost said he's not a big Nintendo fan, which is fine. He doesn't project that on anybody. But why hasn't anybody else been able to replicate Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild and things like that? Those are basically made on cell phone technology, and yet they stand out as like some of the top games, and it's because of the talent making that stuff. And so at the end of the day, you are paying for the talent a lot of times. And I don't like seeing for the Twitter wars, and that's all it really is, people trying to diminish the other things out there, or just putting it all on graphics, because that's not what's really great about the gaming industry. Is there is so many different ways for things to stand out, whether it's like the music, just interactivity. There's different ways of storytelling and things like that. And it's just, if you're spending all your time diminishing things, I just think you've kind of lost. You're doing it wrong. Like that's not what this industry is about.
The other thing too, it's not just graphics; it's the enjoyment. Because sometimes people will play games based on one, maybe a nostalgia factor, or they know they enjoy that genre, right, or that specific game style, and they'll pay money for it, right? Like. And then for them, they'll get the value out of the enjoyment of actually experiencing that game. I mean, so it's not just, I feel like people try to they oversimplify it, like, it's just graphics, right? No, there's, like you said, there's so much more to it than just that, right? Like we don't watch movies because of the explosions and the visual effects. There's more to that, right? There's more to that.
Some of us do, and that's fine. Some people won't go to the movie
some
theater.
People do, but I'm saying, but
it's a Marvel movie, but
I'm not. But I'm saying it's not just that. Like you're right. Yeah, some people, like Michael Bay drops a movie, they want to go see it, right?
But that's a great analogy, though, because like some movies are great because of the acting or the writing, or what I'm saying, they have no special effects, and they're still going to charge the same amount at the theater. So I think that's probably a good equivalence, like special effects versus graphics.
But Nintendo, and a lot of people are like, Nintendo gets away with stuff. Yeah, they do, because they're Nintendo. They have built that equity amongst a fan base, a consumer base, for 40 years now. Well, 40 plus years now, I think. And there's something to be said for that. Slomo brought up Jordans. The Jordan brand has tremendous equity and mind share and brand power because it's done so over, 40 plus years. So these, like gaming isn't any different from other consumer products, and people attack it like it is. And I'm like, what are we doing? It's not. It's the same thing. A lot of the same behaviors. and principles in the free market apply to the gaming industry. It's no different. Nintendo has said, hey, we believe our product is worth X amount of dollars, and the market has said, you know what? We agree, Nintendo. We do think Metroid Prime is $60 or Metroid Dread is $60. We do agree that the Switch OLED is worth $350. And I think, Forte, you could probably attest to how well the OLEDs, because when I talked to you, dude, you sounded like you guys were slammed. And it sounded like people were just coming in looking for the Nintendo OLED, and people were buying up Metroid Dreads, like, and the Amiibos like no one's business, right?
Oh yeah, everybody was looking for the Amiibos. Everybody was looking for Metroid Dread. I still was getting phone calls for Switch OLEDs today, even though people know they were sold out. It's something that people want, and I always ask people, like, why didn't you pre-order when it was available to pre-order? And it was like, well, I was kind of on the fence. I didn't know if it was a big enough upgrade. But then it comes out, and what always happens with Nintendo, people end up deciding that they want it and they can't find it. And it's a consistent thing that always happens when it comes to Nintendo IP that I noticed.
Bro, you heard me, Forte, on the phone with you, right? That FOMO was real.
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
I even told you on the thing, I was like, man, this is like such a role reversal. I remember BRAPs like a month ago 2 months ago when people were like, oh man, it's not a good enough upgrade. I don't know if the OLED screen's enough. Nintendo just out here trying to take people's money and stuff. And then I was like, okay, y'all wait and see as soon as this thing comes out what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, FOMO kicked in, man.
I couldn't figure out on this whole back and forth, like watching it. It's like, are people against 2D games? Are they just against Nintendo? Is it like a graphics thing? It's like there was like so many different arguments around this whole like one thing. I couldn't figure it out.
It's just they want everybody to think the way they think. They want everybody to like what they like. that's it.
But also too, like we've had this discussion too, and kind of watching Slow-Mo debate people. It was like, I don't understand, like, when it comes to gaming, why there's like these different rules that don't apply to other industries. Because the debates can continue on about, games being $70 now. Like people kind of want the gaming industry to be frozen in this one space, and if you kind of give reasons and ideas why that price may be going up, people think that you're capping, or they think that you're protecting, corporations and companies. And it's like, I don't think anybody willingly wants to pay more for anything. But you just understand that that's how consumerism works. And that's why, Slow-Mo's like Jordan analogy is great, because people will pay that money for that. And I'll tell you right now, the cost of a Jordan is like anywhere from a 250 to 400% markup for what they actually cost to produce.
They cost no more to produce than any other sneaker that's out there.
The materials that are used in them are they're not high end in particular. They're like a Jordan's material you could find on the same shoe and hanging on the rack in Walmart.
It's got air bubbles.
So, but it's just interesting. Every other industry goes up, but people don't really flip or freak out about it. The automotive industry, cars value, the prices go up. Like going out to a movie, the prices constantly go up for going out to a movie.
Oh boy.
But for some reason in games, it's like there's like groceries, all of it. Like OBM said, jeans. Like people are paying $250, $300, $400 for somebody to rip their jeans up.
Yeah, man. My God, man. I'm like, seriously, like it's like you're making me pay this much for, or you wanted to pay this much for a pair of jeans that looks broken.
You can go and buy like a pair of less expensive jeans, and you can distress them yourself. What they're doing in a factory is no different what you can do at home, but people will pay that, and not even bad and not. But for some reason around games, the thing that they say they love, the industry that they say they love to support it, and then they want to throw in the argument of the microtransaction and this. And I'm like, well, not every developer utilizes microtransactions.
Well, I mean, I'll put it both ways. I mean, like one of the things that, and I said this to you, Enrique, was, the reason why the $70 thing never freaked me out. And I heard and I understand the argument, first of all. I mean, as consumers, obviously, if something's not worth the money to you, or obviously you want to keep the price lower, that's fine. It is consumers versus corporations. So if people want to talk about it, that's fine. But at the end of the day, the reason why it never really concerns me is because I just see, it goes back to what I said about the options. And there's like all these alternative pressures. So, if there's a $70 game, but what that does is it kind of opens up the door for maybe AA game to come in at 40 or 50, right? Or it opens up the door for an indie to maybe stand out more, or for, it just, or for a subscription to maybe shine more. So there's like all these other pressures like against that AAA $70. So for that game to stand out at 60 or 70, it really needs to stand out now with everything pulling against it. So that's why it's like, especially in gaming, right now the market is so diverse. It's not like some other markets where one person controls the whole thing and they raise the price on you significantly, and you're just kind of like, you don't have any other way to go or options and things. It's not like that. There's a lot of other pressures. Now, for me, and I'd even argue the other way too. When people start giving me shit because I'm playing something on Game Pass instead of paying $70 for it, it's like at the end of the day, consumers, you do what's good for you. You're the one making your damn money. I don't need anybody telling me what I should or shouldn't be, buying. That's not how this is supposed to work. You buy if you want to buy Jordans and whatever games you want to buy, then do that. And like I said, I just think it's not really. A lot of it is disingenuous. It's just people trying to protect their own thing.
So a lot of people, and let's just get straight to the chase on this. A lot of people just don't like the fact that Nintendo could come out with a first party IP and it'd be a 2D scrolling Metroid game and they can still charge $60 for it. That's the only reason it's $60, guys. Let's be for real. It's a Metroid game. It's a first party Nintendo game. And Nintendo was like, screw all y'all. We still gonna charge you $60 because guess what? We know you gonna pay for it because it's a Metroid game. If this was a third party game, like think about it, the Mario Rabbids game that came out so long ago by Ubisoft, that game has seen so many price drops with Mario in it than any Mario game we ever seen. But guess why? Because it's not a first party game. It's made by Ubisoft. So they actually don't mind that game dropping to $14.99 every once in a while. But you'll be hard pressed to find a Nintendo game for less than $50 that came out 3 years ago. And that's the reason that they can charge $60 for. It's the first mainline Metroid game that's been 2D in 20 years. So they're literally living off nostalgia right now.
Nostalgia, yeah.
They living off of it, and they know people are going to pay $60 for it. So yes, I went out and bought it. Do I think the game is worth $60? I obviously must be, because I bought that thing with a Coke and a smile on my face when I did it, and a lot of other people did it too. And Nintendo know that's what was going to happen when this game came out. So that's why I think people just need to kind of just come to grips. Like, Nintendo moved differently than these other platforms. They actually value the price of their games consistently across the board, compared to like, oh, we'll get the bulk of our sales at 60 or at 40, and then we'll drop the price to a more manageable rate that we can sell the game long term at like 40 or $50. Nintendo's like, no, screw all that. You're gonna buy this game and you're gonna enjoy it. If you like Metroid, you're gonna pay $60 for it. Let's be for real. That's literally the end of the discussion right there, why they charge what they charge for their games.
No, straight up, Forte. Nintendo like, yeah, we're Jordans. Yeah, we're gonna set our tone and fuck around and find out.
Look, they think about it. Games like WarioWare. WarioWare literally was super. Like, for the first week it came out, I was like, "What's so special about this game?" Because I didn't play it. I still haven't played it. But people for the first week were walking in the stores like, "Yo, where's WarioWare? It's a $60 game, and I don't know anything about this freaking franchise like that." But people, like, it's a Nintendo property, they gonna spend it.
Hey, I got my special edition.
Hey,
where'd you find one?
That. Huh?
Where'd you find one at?
I gave mine to a customer.
Wario was dropping the day it came out. He was just dropping like links like left and right.
Yeah, he was dropping links. I couldn't get to the Target one that he dropped. Yeah.
I hit me up. I got an extra one.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say those things are hard to find, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I might buy one. I might buy one like from someone at this point. Yeah.
FOMO.
Yeah, right. FOMO's real, man. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, I love when you bring up Nintendo. People got to bring up Sony. Very interesting.
The thing is, Nintendo got more powerful first party IPs than Sony do.
I see.
And that's
The,
why
I,
they can do it.
I see the
I say
console.
it all
I
the
see the
time,
console.
man.
Don't say that in live chat, man. Albert G's gonna get upset.
Say it all
He's
the
out
time,
here.
man.
He's out here preaching for Sony right now.
All these other console makers wish they games sold like Nintendo games. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah, they have a ridiculous attach rate. What is it like? What was the Zelda? Was at the beginning? Was
Zelda
like
had like
100%?
Zelda had like 110% attach rate.
Yeah.
Like it was over 100%.
Because
They are
on
they
two
are the
platforms.
Disney basically. They are the Disney of the gaming industry right
Look,
now.
man.
Yeah.
What they doing?
Nintendo's got their own theme park going, but they could go to Disney, Universal, any one of them, and have a Mario ride set up, right?
Yeah.
Let them go and say, "Hey, we want to do an Uncharted ride." They're like, "What? What?"
Or
You
what?
know who'll get the Uncharted ride? Busch Gardens.
You said Busch Gardens to get it.
It doesn't.
I totally forgot about that.
Those Nintendo
my
IP are up on that level. They're on the level with like Marvel and Disney properties and WB properties and things like that. You know, kids come out the womb knowing who Mario is.
You type in Lego Mario and see what pops up on YouTube.
Yeah, like you said, my mom like, "Who's Mario?" She knows who Mario is. I said, "Who's Nathan Drake?" Who? That's that boy down the street.
Is Nathan Drake? Is that boy down the street?
Is that somebody new that I should be worried about?
You know what I'm saying? So it's different. It's a different vibe,
Well, people
and
like,
they know what they have.
well, I think that's just the biggest part of it. People wonder, like, why do we let Nintendo get away with the stuff that they get away with, like not having voice chat in their games, and you know, finally after 4 years of the Switch coming out, having native voice support on there for wireless users and stuff like that, and not having achievements and stuff. But that's the thing, though. Nintendo, they operate in a lane that's why we always say Nintendo ain't in this console war like everybody else.
Hey, Greg is stupid, man. I'm sorry, unfortunately.
What he say? What Greg
Nintendo got a theme park. Halo got one Dave and Buster's game.
Listen, man, it's the only company that's got a CEO named after. I mean, he's not named after. His last name is Bowser, but
That's
Doug
crazy,
Bowser.
right?
Like the first dude when he took because the first time I met him was at a GameStop conference, and it was the year after Reggie stepped down.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up with they had I thought it was a joke. He's you had a picture of Bowser up there, last name Doug, first name Doug, last name Bowser, and I was like, no way. He came on stage and said, he said, yo, for real, this is a dream of mine. My last name is truly Bowser. And the whole mystique of Nintendo is just unreal. Like the fact that the CEO's name is Bowser.
That was the lore moving forward too.
Yeah,
It was.
The guy got involved because that's too crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It just makes sense, and that's what Nintendo is. Everything and we could talk bad about them having a movie with Chris Pratt playing Mario, but guess what's gonna happen at that movie?
Yep.
That movie gonna sell like crazy, and we all still gonna be talking junk about it. And guess what? Nintendo gonna be laughing into the bank with all of your 12-year-olds' money as they say, I know you like that Mario movie.
And when they have the special edition Switch, Enrique gonna be blowing your phone up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
On that note, if we're going to start complaining about anything, let's complain about the fact that Sonic keeps selling despite having shitty games. And why they don't get a good developer on it.
Hey, OBM, real quick, man. I gotta get the super chat. I forgot the super chat, guys. I gotta get this. Sayanu.com with the $3 super chat says, BRAP, what do you think about PlayStation Space by Kira today? I thought it was pretty good. I mean, he talked about the PlayStation roadmap, which I thought was interesting. Go ahead, E. I think you were.
No, I'm agreeing with OBM. Like, it doesn't matter how many times like people are disappointed by Sonic games. Every time there's like a Sonic event, people are like, yeah, this is gonna be the one. This is
Or
it.
Madden, like, or the fact that Madden comes out and it's just busted every year, or it's just
Yep.
it's or they took away features, or no, they promoted some features that were in the game 5 years ago and they put them in there, and then they took away like 2 features for every one they brought back. Like complain about that stuff, but when something comes out and people are enjoying it, it's high quality, and they think they got their money's worth. I just, again, it just, I guess we're just kind of going in circles, but to me, it's not even very logical at all.
Again, it's like in this small circle, there's no gamer unity in this small circle, But the real gaming community, they're out there. They support. They go.
They are out there.
They go to these events. They go to Forte store. When there's like the 9 o'clock release, and they sit in line and they talk and they enjoy and and go back and forth and stuff like that. But you come to this bubble, and it's all whataboutism and pointless stuff. Because what's the point? And honestly, you can kind of shut these conversations down if you just go ahead and agree with somebody. Well, what happens? Well, what if this happens? Yeah, you're right, dog. You're absolutely right.
You got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
go back with.
Yeah, it's true, man. Or some people might just invent another issue. Well, what about this?
Yeah. What about that? That's true.
Yeah.
See, ain't going nowhere with it.
Oh,
That
man,
is
that's funny.
true. What about that? Yep.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
Agreed ass is the death. Agreed on the sleep.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're right. It is a bubble, but and it is cool, like to see people excited, like what I saw Friday. Like I could hear, Forte, your story sounded like. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but I could hear like a lot of people in the background. Right, the phone was ringing off the hook.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I'm a pretty big Nintendo store, and that's why I always try to tell people, it's like, man, I know what these Nintendo people gonna be. Like every area is different, but man, with like Nintendo people, like it was a perfect storm too. It was a Pokemon day because the new Champions Pack came out that day. People were pre-ordering the next set that came out. You had Metroid coming out. You had a Switch OLED coming out. So Nintendo fans were in their element yesterday on Friday. It was great to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it really was, man. Like, and I saw it. I even stopped by my local GameStop. There was people coming in looking for the amiibos, like the Metroid
going
amiibos
for double the price.
Yeah, and actually, I was able to snag another one. I got one from my local GameStop, and then my 7-year-old like saw it. He's like, I want the amiibos. I'm like, nah, I'm not taking these out of the box. He's like, oh, and so I got him one from GameStop online. But yeah, I mean, the excitement was there, man. Like a lot of people, I saw people were rushing in my local GameStop and like asking about the Switch OLEDs and the special edition Metroid Dread. And I think they were about sold out of the just regular Metroid Dreads too, man. It was, that's the kind of stuff that's exciting to see. You got what?
We got restocked today. We sold out on Saturday. We got restocked today on it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's just, gaming's interesting, man. It's very interesting to see people, people just have these, I don't know how to describe it. Like instead of celebrating gaming, it's like they always feel the need to put down what another company's doing. It's like, and it's super unfortunate because gaming is supposed to be fun, not supposed to be taken this serious. Something very trivial in the grand scheme of things. And people shouldn't be getting angry or trying to put down another company and, things like that, and or brandishing weapons. Oh my God.
Turning it into politics, like
turning it into politics.
Because there's not enough drama in politics, so we got to bring it into gaming.
Like there's not enough drama out in the real world, Like, and if you're doing this stuff, it's like go out and take a walk, get a breath of fresh air.
But don't get past that. I don't want to dwell on that, Enrique. But people pulling straps out on camera over games.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's wild, man. Yeah.
Like you cats,
that's
wild,
unfortunate, man.
God damn.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Like it's really unfortunate, and I don't know if some of that's probably mental illness, some of that's immaturity, but that shit's not cool, man. Like I mean, I know I was kind of making light of it, but that's like I said this on the Spaces. J-Dub had a space. I was like, look, someone's gonna get hurt. If that shit keeps going on, and this is the first time it's happened. This is serious stuff. Like it's not the first time someone is brandished a weapon online on a video over video games. Think about that. Video games.
Yeah.
So I don't get it, man. It's unfortunate because this is supposed to be something that's enjoyable. It's a form of entertainment. It doesn't. I see all these people like saying, like trying to put down other other companies or getting angry, upset. It's like, look, like at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, like you said, OBM, it doesn't need to be politicized. It's not that big of a deal. There's bigger problems out there.
Stop being pundits for like celebrate the stuff you like. I mean, I guess I can't tell anybody what to do, but to me it makes sense to celebrate the stuff you like. It is a way to get away. But being pundits and you know how it is in politics, it's usually you're running against the other person rather than for whatever you're for, and so it's always about like putting down your opponent, and that's what I feel like you just see a lot of on Twitter. And maybe it's just our bubble. Maybe we just got to start muting and blocking a lot more people because this is I've said this before. The reason why I'm involved with the gaming community with like Xbox era and why I turned to gaming and even like to talk about it. It is my escape. It actually is something that helps with like mental illness. If I stay away from the crazies and don't get caught up into that stuff. And that's what it really is supposed to be about. And a lot of people do turn to this stuff for the fun because it is something, with all the shit going on with the pandemics and, just the politicians and everything else. This is like the thing that people use sometimes to escape or, just other problems they have. And I think, that's the thing I try to be considerate of. I don't like everything out there. But I don't also make it a point to like just to pick apart things, especially stuff that people, teams of, people, whether it's a small team or a big team, spend, a good portion of their life building, just to kind of fight for, a platform or something like that. And it's at the end of the day, you got to be mindful. The thing I do wish is that people would be just more mindful about everybody else around them, because there is a lot of stuff we know that, and I know this is like way off topic, but there is a lot of mental illness out there. There's a lot of people that are hurting, and they come out to this stuff. They want to come to Twitter and they want to have fun with gaming, and so people are out there and they're excited, happy. They bought Metroid or whatever the game it is. It's like you getting out there doing your dumb shit, in
PvP, I had it all muted. That's on me.
No, I thought I think
but yeah, sitting here playing PvP for like 4 matches in a row.
But just kind of end of the day, I think that people should be just more considerate about the other people in the community and understand that this is some of the things that they're constantly creating drama and negativity around is really it's somebody else's escape, and you're really kind of making it worse for those people. And so it's just something to think about, for all of you people out there.
Yeah, no, that's a great point there, OBM, man. And on that note, we're going to wrap up the show, but want to give big shouts to everyone in the live chat. Thanks for stopping by. Please hit that like button. We have over 100 people watching. Hit that like button if you're new. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. Go check out Slow-Mo Backslap's Twitch channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. Give him some points so we can get him to play a Souls game. And yeah, so
Oh boy.
but OBM, man, I want to say thank you, man, for joining us tonight. Always a pleasure having you on. You are the one bad insider from now on. Insider. So let everyone know they can find you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, Enrique. It's always a good time talking to you guys. I mean, I know you guys well enough now, and it was enjoyable kind of talking about, a lot of game stuff, and, appreciate you letting me just get on a soapbox and rant. I don't know, maybe I need to get that out of my system. I feel better now. So thanks for the therapy session. But yeah, if anybody wants to find me, you can find me on Twitter at onebadmother at mother_1. And also I am a senior editor of an Xbox era. So if you're Xbox leaning, we got forums and everything else, and also co-host of the You Had Me at Halo podcast, which is going to be tomorrow. It'll be before Slow-Mo and Forte get on, we'll be on at 8:00. So, maybe drop in before you go to them and just kind of see what we're talking about. We'll be discussing, it sounds like tomorrow they're going to talk about the ranked settings, which I think is going to be really interesting. And we still have to touch on some big team battle stuff. So catch us there. But thanks again. Appreciate it. It was fun as always.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And go from top to bottom here. B Money, man, always a pleasure, sir. I didn't hear any nuggets or anything, man, or any predictions, but always a pleasure having you on, man. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, man, you can find me everywhere. Same name, B Money 101. It was a great show tonight, and hopefully we get Back for Blood sometime this week.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt, B. We definitely got to do that. We got my man Eric Jackson. Man, always a pleasure, man. Always appreciate your insight, and thank you for the laugh, man, on Twitter. That was funny as shit, man. I was in tears, man. But let me know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, good show tonight. Always enjoy catching up with my boys here. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter, EC Jackson with an X, and also on Tuesday nights, Gaming Perspective podcast at 8:00.
No doubt, man. And we got FOMO Forte. Forte, man. Forte, man. I gotta say thank you again, man. I really appreciate you, man. Helping me out.
No problem.
And let me know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, give me Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and PlayStation. With the homeboy Slow-Mo Backslap tomorrow for DPS Podcast, 9:00 on my channel. Going to be a great show. Got a lot of great topics to talk about, a lot of stuff. We can bring up, some stuff we talked about on here, but, spice it up a little bit. I want to get Slow-Mo arguing with me. It's been a while since he argued with me.
Oh, my God. So you could be making stuff up. Okay, here we go.
He does make stuff up to get you
fired. Yeah, he could be like, every video game you played is trash, Slow-Mo. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, okay.
He does kind of do that, man. It's funny, man.
I do. It's fun though. But yeah,
I'm not taking the bait tomorrow.
Well, that's because I gave him heads
he
up.
Says that.
It's something that I think he says that until I get on his nerves.
And then Slow-Mo goes into professor mode. I will say this, man. Slow-Mo seems to be like an encyclopedia when it comes to stuff, man. You can't get away with like try to slip kind of alternative facts. He'll open it up to page whatever and read it off to you where you're wrong. But anyways, keep going, guys. It's always fun to listen to you guys, by the way. So
I'm glad you appreciate that. My wife doesn't. So well, actually, babe, back on Tuesday in our text message, you said, she hates that shit. So let me keep it going. Go ahead, Forte. My bad.
You're good. No, it was a great show, man, and hope you guys enjoyed the games that y'all playing, and see you guys on DPS tomorrow.
Absolutely, man. We got Slow-Mo who says I'm not a streamer. Slow-Mo, man. Let everyone know they can find you, man.
I'm not a streamer. No, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. As Forte had mentioned before, DPS Podcast, that's Damage Per Second Podcast, tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, on his channel, Gaming Forte. We're going to have a good time, so come check us out. I probably will be streaming, even though I'm not a streamer. I probably will do something stream-like on Twitch tomorrow. I'm also, and this is no cap, I know I'm always talking about the videos I'm working on. I am like in the home stretch on this video I've been working on for a long time about, I'll talk about what it's about. It's about black hair in video games and how black hair in video games is trash. And
man.
And I'm getting deep into, like, I'm bringing receipts. Like I've played so many games, some games that I didn't never want to play ever again. But I've reinstalled these games to show you the character creators and the options and how they all seem very similar. They're all very lacking in a lot of different areas. And it's not just black hair in general. Hair in video games, period, is trash. It's really bad. And I'm gonna get into why it's bad. I've got all kinds of data. I've done a lot of research. I've talked to some people who actually work on these things that have had their role of creating hair for characters in video games before. So it's really in depth. I'm still working on it, and I actually been kind of working on some of the script while we were doing the show. But look out for that in the future because it's coming.
I gotta be honest,
Hey,
man. Like,
can you add like
do
a
you have
subcategory
any-
to your video, like skin tone? Because black skin tone. 'Cause sometimes
Man,
they go
the
from
way
large.
yeah, exactly. The way they go from El DeBarge to straight
you
up
said El DeBarge.
And then they go to like Sesame Street purple.
exactly.
Like what?
Like what? Where's the in between? Or their dark skinned characters just look like a white guy with a real bad tan.
Yeah.
It's
Like
just
The
like
black
that-
is not
they're like
really,
Hulk
the dark
Hogan.
skin is not really dark skin. It's like
exactly Hulk Hogan.
it's like Pantone cool gray. It's not really like dark skin.
He said,
It's like,
"Bento."
Or how like literally almost every character creator has only 3 hair types.
yeah,
It's
cornrow.
bald, trash cornrows, okay,
Hey,
like
so what
really
you say the-
bad cornrows.
What'd you say the cornrows were like again?
Oh! Last night we was playing Back for Blood, and there was an NPC at the camp, and I said that her hair looked like a chia pet. It looked like a chia pet for real, man. It looked like what a chia pet. You guys remember what a chia pet looked like? when you put water on
it did. Yeah,
and it just looked like a chia pet with just like a little hair balls on the edges, and it was just like that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Like that is not an afro. That's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be an afro, and I was just like, what is this? Oh man, yeah. So look, I'm getting into all of it. It's been a project I've been working on for a few months actually. So
each
Can't wait to finish it.
each console
if you
generation.
haven't,
Hmm?
2K.
you bought in there, B. I can't hear you.
You bought, man.
I sound better now.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, man.
All right. I was gonna say if you haven't added any NBA 2K hairstyles in there, I would suggest you add in that as part of your research.
Will do. I actually have
they
purchased
can be
some
pretty bad,
games.
too.
I've had suggestions that I've actually purchased some games just to get to the character
To
creator
do research.
and download. So maybe I'll do that with 2K because I've seen a lot of people laughing at the character creator for the most recent one, and talk about how ugly their created players are. It's pretty funny. So yeah, I'm definitely getting into all of that.
All right, cool. All
Yeah,
right.
ironically, Madden has one of the better ones just for you to put your helmet on it. But you don't even see the hair after you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hey, Selma, I just had an idea for your next video after that. I think what would get you a lot of traffic would be you recording yourself playing a Soulsborne game for the first time live. So just throwing that out there.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
one bad insider. I tell you, man, you are really trying to get me to play.
He's
these,
on it,
man.
yeah.
You know what? How about this? How about this one bad? Let's make a deal, okay?
I like this.
All right.
I will play a From Software game if you divulge to us one of your secrets.
What secrets? I don't got any secrets.
What? Are you serious right now?
I
You
don't
are
know.
the one. You the one bad insider, man. Shut your
Wow.
mouth. That's you. That's you.
Wow. All right. Look, on that note, we're gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and wrap up the show. So, one bad insider can tell us a
Oh my
secret.
God.
So, we'll catch you all next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great rest of the week and a great weekend as well. Peace.
Oh man.